Hello all, this is Roman Delino with Qvinci. Wanted to personally thank all of you for joining me today and really trying to learn about how Qvinci it can help you improve franchise operations and efficiencies environment. So we're going to touch on a couple of key points here. And wanted to start with giving an illustration of the group of clients that we currently work with. This is a sample of it, and in my opinion, it's demonstrative of how Qvinci's offering of financial business intelligence is really a universal value. We work with clients in the restoration business, all the way to oil and gas, to bagel makers, to sub shops. So everybody needs some sort of financial business intelligence as far as the retrieval of this information and understanding of it, and that's really where Qvinci comes in. Our agenda for this meeting is to share with you how Qvinci can be utilized to improve communication, goal alignment, and drive best practices and improve cultural alignment within your. Spend 5 minutes on each of these points, and then give a 10-minute overview of Qvinci, closing with 10 minutes of Q&A. As I'm going through, please feel free to use the chat area to ask any questions, and if there are any I can address at the end, I'll be happy to do so as well. We wanted to start with how Qvinci can be utilized to improve communication, as this is really one of the fastest realized values that Qvinci brings through automating the collection and consolidation of location-based financial data. I would pose the question, how many of you receive 100% of your required location reporting in a timely manner and can ensure that the data received is actually accurate? Conversations we've had with existing clients, this is a huge issue, as the typical compliance rates in the nature of 10 to 20. Usually, the reports that are provided by franchisees that are well-established and higher-performing franchisees as it stands. So without receiving information from the rest of your environment, you're often losing the opportunity to offer assistance when most needed, simply by not knowing the problem exists. We can ensure that 100% of your linked files are synced on your schedule, and that the data presented is a direct reflection of the information within the individual accounting file. So you know that you're receiving your files timely and accurately. So the upshot of receiving this information is your accounting is kept up to date. Errors and issues are identified as they occur, and you sync 3 years of data upon every request. So, I mean, you think back if there was a change made to a file that was technically 8 months ago, you'll see that change immediately. And either A, know it happened, or B, be able to address it if it was incorrect. This really, it changes the conversation just overall, as we find that most clients would rather their teams invest time making changes that will improve operational efficiency and financial strength in their business versus spending time attempting to manually go out and retrieve this information from your distributed locations and then standardize them into a format so that it can be analyzed. On top of that, you have to think how many of your franchisees probably sigh every time they have to run through this manual process of either dropping a P&L. I don't know if you expect some level of standardization on their end prior to sending, or just frankly don't want to mess with it, and how much value would automating this process offer them. Another item that really bears mentioning is the way Qvinci's licensing structure works. Everything is based on the location. We provide you unlimited logins with varying levels of permission. So you can provide visibility at the admin level, for instance. As a franchisor, you would see all locations. But if you have a franchisee that's a multi-unit owner or a single unit owner, you can give them the ability to view their own information. And if they have multiple locations, you all of the locations that they actually own. And one of the big upsides here is for one cost, you're providing them with the consolidation and enterprise class reporting that we provide you with. An example of how this has been given impact to one of our, frankly, one of our largest clients. Whenever we came into contact with this specific client, they neither had an FDD nor an Item 19. They received no reporting and were all but going on faith as it related to the financial health of their business. They came to Qvinci, let us know they had a problem. At which point we said, look, we can automate this process and present you with this information. After we've initiated and set up Qvinci within their environment, they're currently at 100 clients in terms of reporting sync. And they're able to utilize that data on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis to determine where their business stands and make informed decisions as opposed to guesses. One of the next values that we bring here at Qvinci is really the ability to align your goals top down and bottom up within your environment. You know, you as a business owner, whether you're a franchisee or franchisor, will determine key performance indicator goals that you would like to receive alerts on. So we offer you the ability to set email alerts on a weekly or daily basis to notify you when you're trending to meet or surpass or where you stand against a specific goal or threshold. This is actually set up within the native account, or can be set to a group of accounts in the instance of a multi-unit owner or at the franchisor level. And an email will be sent whenever these goals or thresholds are surpassed, associated directly to your login credentials. I'd like to call out here that this applies both to the franchisor and the franchisee, because while your goals will often be aligned, you may want to see the data demonstrated in a slightly different manner, or they may differ slightly just overall. Being that the goals are driven by your login credentials, it is you who will be notified of your specific threshold, goal, or KPI. You know, a couple of examples of how we've seen this really offer a lot of value to clients. One example, we had a client who was piloting a specific product that they were trying to determine if they were wanting to roll out to their entire environment. The hill that they were climbing was it was very difficult to break that specific unit out of their POS in order to really determine the success rate of that specific unit. So what they went in and did was they said, okay, we're going to roll this out to 30 different locations. We would like to see this much sales driven by this specific unit, and it essentially set a budget for each one of these locations, and then went in and built in email alerts to let them know where they were trending towards those goals. And the idea is it really simplifies that process as it removes some of the manual gymnastics required for pulling that reporting out of their POS. And another way to utilize the alert tool is by actually setting cost or expense thresholds. I mean, typically the first place a company or corporation will look at when it comes to leaning down their business is operational expenses. So, I mean, you may determine that you want to see a reduction in a specific expense item across the board, and we offer you the ability to set a threshold. Once again, giving you the ability on a weekly or daily basis to see kind of where you're trending, and give you time, for instance, if you're trending to surpass your budget, to take action and make the changes necessary in order to meet your goal. Best practices. One of my favorite tools within Qvinci is actually the benchmarking, ranking, and vertical analysis. The biggest reason is I feel like this really offers you offers you the ability to take action on information around how your best performers operate. And what I mean by that is this. Whenever we run a benchmark report, it'll allow you to identify who your top performers are, and at the franchisor level. At the franchisee level, you can actually run a benchmark of yourself against a peer group or the entire environment, if you would like, and see in an anonymized basis. And what I mean by that is we will only give you the information as far as the benchmarking report is concerned if it's an average of a minimum of 2 files. So you don't have to worry about somebody being able to back into another person's financial. It's effectively anonymized data. But what it is used for is it's to take a look at what your best performers, how they spend their money, where they focus their sales, and utilize that information to drive best practices across either your entire environment or a specific period. A lot of you are probably thinking, well, I realize I'm a franchise. While I operate within a specific model, there may be large differences in either the demographics or the markets or the age of my various franchisees, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to compare them against, say, a brand new franchisee, or to compare an urban market franchisee to a rural market franchisee. And franchisees would feel the same way. We give you the ability through what we consider business properties to effectively build in filters and pare this group down so that you can look at a comparable group of selected peers. And within that group of peers, you can make some reasonable assumptions. If it's a like market, like demographic, similarly aged location, and you pull up, for instance, the top 10% P&L comparison, and notice that your particular location is spending a third of what the top 10% is spending in television marketing, but as a function of that, you can see top and bottom line increases, then it's a reasonable assumption to make that your particular store should probably start spending a little bit more. It's easy to understand, easy to digest at the franchisee level, and it's protected information. And at the franchisor level, it's something that you could look at really environment-wide and use as a tool to figure out, okay, here are my best practices, and I'm going to utilize this as a model to make recommendations to franchisees, and also to go to underperforming or even middle-performing franchisees and say, this is what we consider as the ideal, and if you were to plug these same ratios into your business, upside that you would see. It really gives you actionable dynamic information. The other piece that I would like to add to this is there are instances where we've ran into clients who actually found out that while Mr. Franchisee that owns his store location 531 is not actually in the top 10%, his ratios when compared to the top 10% match very closely to what the top 10 is doing. And it validates that he's on the right path, doing the right things. And that's the response that we've received from this specific franchisee is, it was great to see the validation that I was running my business properly, and know that, maybe it's a function of time or some other variables that will help me grow and possibly one day join. So, the question I typically pose around this one is, who wouldn't want their environment to be modeled after the top 10% of whatever respective peer? We also offer a top 25% as well, depending on the number of locations that fit into a peer group. Cultural alignment and cooperation. What we're looking to bring to you here is the ability. When I'd referenced business properties earlier, The way we handle that is whenever we're onboarding an account, we ask you, okay, it's pretty typical that everybody has a specific corporate structure, and they want to see their information pared down a certain way. It could be I've had clients say, I really want to look at all of my 100 locations by tier because that's how we separate everyone off. I would also like to look at it by specific market or by date founded. I'd like to be able to view groups of new franchisees or new locations or multi-unit owners as a peer group. Within the custom non-financial properties that we give you, or we give you the option to determine, you can let us know how you want to view that. We will input that information, and it will actually show up on your dashboard as selectable filters. The other piece that I want to add here is whenever you break people off into groups like this, it's really common that you would they view themselves as peers, and you can kind of challenge them to raise the bar. Meaning you can take a look at number ones or best performers in particular categories, and ask them to reach out to their peers and share their experiences. This can be very effective, as a lot of times, you're more likely to listen to a peer than somebody that is possibly at a higher or different vertical within your organization. The information is just relayed much more effectively, and collaboration has really been key in growth, in the last 10 years for a lot. So this is really a quick rundown of what we would consider the Qvinci overview. A lot of this information was covered in the previous slides, but to break it down, what we do at Qvinci is financial report consolidation. So we offer consolidation on P&L, balance sheet, statement of cash flows, AP and AR aging, automated daily file syncings with multiple different accounting softwares, QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, Xero, MYOB, and even a manual Excel sync as well. Our daily health check will actually go through and look for basic accounting errors within your actual file, notify you not only of where they are, but when they happened, and let you know where you need to go to fix them. We always sync 36 months of data, should 36 months of data be there to sync, so that once again you can catch any issues that may have happened after the last sync up to 3 years back. So the other key point that we always like to add is we are one of the recommended reporting partners for the Enterprise program, as they have vetted our solution and have confirmed that we are not only accurate but do exactly what we say we can. So reducing errors and increasing accuracy, this really applies to the health check feature. It gives you the ability, like I said, to catch errors as they happen, and also deter fraud with consistent monitoring of accounting files. A primary example that always comes to mind is we actually have a client, and a very large client, that as soon as she synced all of her locations across her environment, she discovered $3.2 million worth of unreported. Now, we would like to think that a lot of that was due to accounting errors or just general mistakes. It may have been the truth, may not have been the truth. What mattered is she found out that there was an issue, and we gave her the opportunity to. And then one of the other points that I want to call out here is whenever you're doing a ranking report or side by side, it does give you the opportunity to identify anomalies within your environment. Basically, if you've got like stores and one is selling quite a bit more but showing a significantly reduced COGS line, for instance, then it shows that you may have an issue either within the reporting or residing somewhere else within the environment. So properties and report filters. This is kind of touching back on what we were discussing earlier in terms of adding various business properties. I'm actually going to pull over our demo page so I can illustrate this to you. So this is an example of the Qvinci dashboard. What I was wanting to illustrate to you are a couple of different things. First and foremost, that we display a very clean dashboard that give you a selection of widgets that will illustrate to you various periods of P&L. What we consider a financial snapshot and AP/AR aging. You can actually select what you view here out of a list of options. And also, if you do not want to view specific ones, it's as simple as clicking them. You can break this view down by clicking on an individual location as well. So it offers you both a consolidated visualization of the information and an individualized. So in regards to the business properties that I was referencing, we move over to the reporting tab. Down this left-hand column, these are examples of the business properties within our demo page to pare these down. So once again, it can be broken out by city, by local population. It can be done by date of opening, founded date, industry, essentially any non-financial property that you choose to put. And then upon onboarding, you will clarify to us a founded date for general population on the onboarding template. It's a very simple process. And going forward, you can use that to break out your location. So a couple of other things that I do want to call out here, and a lot of people find that once they've generated reports like they like to see, you have the ability to simply memorize the report here. And if you know that you want to see a P&L by location year to date on it's a report that you run frequently, it's as simple as clicking on that report. And then the report populates within most time 10 seconds. And you can either view it and make use of it within Qvinci or export it to Excel if you choose to do so. I've had clients that want to see the P&L, but they want to remove certain lines. And exporting to Excel, highlighting that row, deleting is a very simple process and gives you the ability to see the information how you would like to see it. So you can also manually generate the report, at which point you can choose specific locations to report on and groups of locations or all of the locations, or you can view a consolidated report of those locations and set side by side by selecting a frequency of by month, by quarter, or by year. So another piece that I would like to bring attention to is our vertical analysis. Vertical analysis breaks all of the numbers down on both a P&L and your balance sheet as a percent of revenue. So it really level sets, regardless of size, the various franchisees or pieces of information you're dealing with in order to make a broad view much easier to understand. All right, guys. Well, we are actually running a little short on time, and I appreciate you being patient with me. I wanted to go ahead and open up the field for questions. If any have come up, I'm more than happy to address them.
Okay, this is Kristen at Qvinci. We had a question about how to resend invites to franchisees. And that is easily done at the franchisor level. So if you are a business manager or the admin of your Qvinci account, you can certainly do that from the Users tab inside the application. There is a Users directory, and you're able to resend invites to any user who is inside your ecosystem. Other questions? Okay, we had another question concerning the alerts, the financial summary and alert notifications that you as the franchisor or franchisees can subscribe to. These are all user defined. So the user who is logged in and has visibility to a particular location is the one that is able to subscribe to these alerts. So at the franchisor level or a business manager level, you have the ability to log into your account and subscribe to the snapshot notification email for all of your locations or to a particular location and set a target or a threshold on an account. That's going to go to your email. Again, your franchisees also have the ability to log in and subscribe to the locations that they own, and that alert will go to their email. So again, it's all user specific based upon who is subscribing to particular locations.
All right, I'm back in. I apologize about that, everybody. I dropped out for a second. Karen, we really appreciate you showing up as well as yourself, Peter. The slide that I've got up now reflects both the location of our website and the main email. If you have any questions in regards to taking a further look at Qvinci. So, and something else I wanted to clarify, I didn't get a chance to earlier for those who are still on. One of the ways and kind of where we differentiate the consolidation piece within Qvinci is that we actually we ask every client to create their own standard chart of accounts. Whenever they create this standard chart of accounts, more than anything, what we're asking you is how you want to view the consolidation piece of your actual financial data. We utilize a list of whitelist and known, what we would consider mapping known keywords in order to associate accounts that make sense to associate with a high level of accuracy and removing a manual component to the consolidation. After that file's been synced, we give you the ability to go in and a single time map a data that anything that doesn't match your standard chart of accounts or the whitelist or keyword naming convention, you actually have the ability to go in and manually map to a specific sub-account within Qvinci so that you can still view that data as you see fit without ever actually having to make a change to the native file. We run down a couple of benefits here. We've got the benefits for franchisors, and a lot of this has been summed up through the presentation. But bottom line is we save time, we save energy as it relates to collecting the information and consolidating it. We give you the ability to actively monitor the health of your environment, reducing confusion, promoting goal alignment, and it really helps make use of your time instead of bringing in information and consolidating it. Allow you to actually be presented with the information and make decisions based on it. From a franchisee standpoint, once again, if you're a multi-unit owner, the consolidation value applies just as well to you as it would to a franchise. And that's a piece of business that is often you have neither the time nor the patience a lot of times to deal with. Well, whenever the license is owned on your locations, you automatically get that. You automatically receive the reporting. You automatically receive the consolidation. It's also a very simple tool to use. It doesn't require a ton of training to navigate and to understand the information that you're. So the other key call out at the franchisee level is the peer benchmarking that you're afforded. Once again, there's protections around the information as it's for benchmarking purposes, so that you're never looking at someone else's data. You're looking at an average of a peer group's data or of a percentiles data. But it allows you to make informed decisions, and it gives you actionable information to better your business. Just as a general call to action and in closing, we'd really like to encourage any and all of you who are interested or would like to review this on a one-to-one basis to reach out to us. We actually have a web form that you can fill your information out, let us know how we should get in contact with you, and also give you an opportunity to input a couple of questions that we may be able to help. And send it back into us. Our team would be more than glad to reach out to you and go into further detail about how Qvinci can be a franchisee, or in the case of a non-franchise environment, how it could help you with a multi-location corporate environment. So wanted to thank everybody for joining us today, and hope that we may be able to do business in the future.